Welcome back to the channel. Thank y'all for hanging with me on this Wednesday. So this is the time of year where you are going to encounter the possibility of fall turnover. I'm not going to go too far into what it is other than it's oxygenated water, cool water mixing with non-oxygenated water that is warmer. And when they mix, it's a bad thing. Stirs up the bottom, and you're going to find that wherever you're fishing is going to get messed up for about a week and a half to 2 weeks. Now, why this is important is when you are on a big body of water, it's not going to happen everywhere. So you need to have a lot more backup plans this time of year around this period, or you're going to end up fishing around some really sick and messed up fish from this naturally occurring situation that unfortunately happens. So what I will say, and this is confusing and shocking when it does happen to you because it literally comes out of nowhere. Now you're going to maybe be experiencing some cool nights for a while. Maybe you just experienced the first couple of cool nights and whatever it is, the fish are messed up. The water looks nasty. It looks like maybe rain came in and washed out your area or whatever, but it's totally wrecked for about 2 weeks. So it doesn't matter how good the fishing is in those areas prior to this. It's just not going to happen in there. So one thing that I will be very, very careful about this time of year is have general areas of the lake where I think I can maybe go and catch some fish and really scope them out and really be planning to go to a bunch of different areas of the lake. Now, I'll say on the lake that I live on, there's a very big, long section of it that gets hammered by fall turnover. And then there's a very large part of the lake that doesn't seem like it gets affected by it. So that's probably pretty close to most lakes. You know, you go up the river, you get in that shallower part of the lake, that's not going to turn over too bad. You get out in that deeper part, maybe the part that's not really affected by current, if you have any of that, that's going to get hammered really bad by fall turnover. So the science and all that, that's not really that important. What you need to know as a fisherman is that there's going to be stuff floating around in the water. It's going to be pretty obvious to see. If you're good on 2D sonar, you should be able to see the fuzziness on your graph. And it doesn't take a whole lot to look in the water, realize nothing's changed other than the water has just been turned around like a washing machine and the fish aren't biting. And then you have to know, okay, I have something completely different than what I was catching them on here and doing. Let's go try that and then just go figure it out. But if you try to catch them in that stuff and try to spend a lot of time in those areas that are being in that week or two period where it's turned over, you're going to really struggle and you're probably not going to catch anything at all. So you need to get away from that. And again, it's going to be like one section of your lake that this is happening in that specific period of time. It'll probably happen to every part of it for the most part, but it's going to be different sections. So make sure you're far away and not be worried about like spreading yourself out too far, because most of the year you want to stay in little sections of the lake so you're not running all over the lake to find different fish. But in this part of the year, it's okay to be 20 miles down here, 20 miles up there, and go back and just check it every once in a while. If you're practicing for a tournament or you're going to be there for a week, you know, go back and look in some of these areas every once in a while so you're not completely blindsided. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway, is to not be shocked that your really good fishing area where you were catching a bunch of big fish has totally went away. And I don't know if this is just a coincidence or not, but it always seems like before an area gets totally cooked by weather or something naturally occurring like fall turnover, the fishing seems to be really good. And I don't know if the bass can sense that or it's just the weather change that's turning them on, but it sucks you in because the fishing is really good, just like before a front where you're going, man, this area is awesome. And then after that big storm that came in or whatever it is, and then the fishing is non-existent after that period, seems like kind of happens around fall turnover as well. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. If there was ever a time of year where you needed to find a bunch of different parts of the lake and just explore and not have your one really good spot in the back of your head dragging you back to it all the time. Stay focused and stay hungry and stay looking for fish in all these other areas, because your plan A usually goes bad if this happens, and you got to have not only B, C, and D, but probably also E and F. So try that, guys. Good luck to you, and I'll see you on the water.